Hey, this is Walter Jones.
This is Austin St. John.
And you're listening to
Ranger Danger.
Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Go, go, Ranger Danger. Matt and Michael's Ranger Danger.
Welcome back to Mighty Morphin Ranger Danger, the podcast where we watch an episode of the television series Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Then after that, we have a bit of a yak about it. Is yak inappropriate? Do people say yak these days?
I don't think so. Only to talk about yaks, like the
That
animal.
would be great. Yeah.
We talk
that would
about
be a
yaks
podcast.
instead of...
Alright, Power Rangers is out, yaks it is.
Yaks is in.
So Lauren is back. Welcome back, Lauren.
Thank you for having me again.
And the voice of Lord Zed himself, Daniel, returns to the podcast.
Hey, hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
I'm glad you think so.
We should mention we actually listened to the...
Special
What
edition.
did
Shift change.
Yep.
on Christmas Day in Perth.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
That's like better than we did. I haven't listened to it.
I've listened to it. It's great.
You
I
listened to it.
cut it together.
Yeah,
so
you listened
I
to
did.
it in bits and pieces, Michael.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Yeah.
Except I reckon your parents must have thought, like, what are they listening to? Like, we just had the door closed and what are they doing? Yeah.
So, White Light, Part 1.
Yeah, episode 77 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers is what we'll be watching today on the show.
A new Power Ranger.
Yeah, a brand new Power Ranger.
What is it going to be?
A white Power Ranger.
Oh, cool.
Not a white Power Ranger.
Yeah.
I need to make that really clear. A white Power Ranger.
Ranger.
Okay.
Yes.
There needs to be some sort of, like, punctuation.
Just the White Ranger.
The White Ranger.
So we don't know who he could be.
No.
There's a range of candidates.
Yep.
What, like one of these new people?
Yep.
Yeah.
Curtis or Richie or someone else.
Yeah, cool.
Who knows?
I hope it's Bulk or
Bulk or Skull, yeah.
Yeah.
What about them? Don't leave them off. Are we running any bets?
The issue is we do know
No
who it
idea.
is.
well,
So
In fact, I still remember.
Yeah.
This was the hype.
It was the shit at
This
the
was
time.
huge.
But I think it's probably the
don't spoil it for me because I have no idea.
I've
what
tried
it
very
is.
hard not to, but
The peak of Power Rangers, I think, was
Yeah.
around this time.
Yep.
yeah.
And this is, again, one of the episodes I actually did watch as a kid, so I'm quite familiar with what happens over these two
I'll
episodes.
see if it comes back to me, because
Yeah.
I definitely remember this.
I'd be excited to see if you're like, oh, I remember this,
Yeah.
this scene.
All right. Before we get to that, got
Yep.
a couple of things to tackle this week.
Yep.
We've got an email.
I love emails.
Okay, do you want to get that out of the space dumpster?
Yep. All right, let me open up the top of the space. Oh, it's heavy. All right, I got it. I'm going to dive in, reach deep down into it. Okay.
It's very smelly in here now.
It is. Look, I mean to clean it, but
You never quite get around to it.
You have to put another bag in because you got rubbish. You do it next week.
That's
You
right.
could, call council or something to pick it up.
Space Council.
I think if I just take it out onto the balcony, get the high pressure hose out, and just
The space hose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Space hose. All right. So fresh out of the space dumpster is this email from Samuel. Samuel. I'm not going to say last names for privacy reasons. He says,
You might be ashamed of listening to our podcast.
fair call. He says, hello, Ranger Danger. That's us, Michael.
It is us, Matt.
It's an email to us.
I mean, I hope so. Otherwise, we're, reading other
someone
people's
else's
emails.
mail,
Yeah.
Samuel says, helpfully, my name's Samuel, and I grew up on Power Rangers. I was 8 years old when Mighty Morphin Power Rangers first debuted, and I watched it through Power Rangers in Space. I also watched Forever Red, most of Dino Thunder, and the recent finales of Megaforce. In recent weeks, I've become very nostalgic for the show and have begun a rewatch thanks to Netflix. I've always wondered why there wasn't a podcast going through every episode of the show. Then I found you.
So
Amazing.
Good work, everyone there.
Yeah.
That's
we made one guy very happy.
I told you there was a niche, Michael, and
I
you found him.
like to think we made several people very happy.
The one guy we know of definitively.
Yeah.
Sam.
To be honest, I'm only halfway through the first episode of your podcast. Well, you got a lot to go.
Yeah.
About 77 episodes at least. But I've downloaded all of them and cannot wait to catch up with you. Maybe in a few months I'll hear you read this email on the show. Oh,
Yeah.
may the power protect you, Samuel.
Aw.
So maybe we should send him a message from the future then.
I
'Cause if
already
he's gonna
have.
Yeah.
Speaking of him downloading all of the episodes,
Yeah.
Lauren recently did a binge of
Yeah,
a huge amount.
I realised that my iTunes... So I was like, why am I not getting all Ranger Danger on my iTunes. These are things I ponder about.
Yeah.
And
Things I believe that everyone should ponder.
yeah, and basically my iTunes had, even though I had it to automatically subscribe every time you guys update, it was like, oh no, your auto-subscribe is turned off. And I was like, oh, did I tell you to turn off auto-subscribe iTunes? I don't think so. So I downloaded all
You're
of
so
them.
snotty to your applications.
I really am. And then I basically plugged my iPod into my auxiliary cable in the car, and for about 2, maybe 3 weeks, when I was in the car driving around in peak hour traffic, just listening to you us.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad we've got someone on the show that can answer this question for me. Why, God, why would you do that?
And in such a short space of time as well, you cram.
Can I just... I'm sorry. Matt, can you not discourage people from listening to our show?
I just need to know.
No, I think I was just super enthusiastic about the show after we filmed Chimp Change.
Yeah.
Because it was just so much fun, and like I was so impressed with
how it all came together.
yeah, and the casting. Like I will never get over Jeremy as Red Ranger. Like it was just
That made us
actually
all pretty
crazy.
happy.
And I mean, and Tim, I still think we should have one where Tim does all of the voices, and like you're just doing the narration.
So here's the deal. I'm all for that, but we lean on Tim pretty heavily on this show as it is.
Yeah.
And
it's not like he has a life. It's not like he's
It is
infinitely
like-
cooler than we are.
No, it's exactly right.
He's in Hong Kong at the moment.
The
like,
problem is that he's achieving things with his life.
yeah.
Like, which, it's a problem, and it
then
does
you can
make
just
me
do
upset.
this on the side,
Yeah.
like this is nothing, right?
Yeah,
like I can
exactly.
just ring this one in.
Anyway, I enjoyed it. I got to listen to things which I'd only heard about in vague references, and so now I know.
You're caught up?
No, God, you said it. I do have a life. No, I think I got maybe into the mid-20s.
No, that's alright.
Yeah, I thought it was a decent effort.
And you held up mentally?
It got a
We
bit
have-
draining towards the end, I'm not going to lie. I had to give
I'm
up.
with you there.
I think like listening to it an hour in the morning, an hour in the afternoon was a bit much.
Yeah. That'll happen. You know,
Yeah.
you've got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
We're only on twice a week.
Yeah. Well, I had to catch up.
Okay, another thing.
Yes.
So, the first shot of the Ninja cockpit. Of the Megazord.
Of the Megazord, alright.
Now, can you explain
The
to...
Ninja Cockle?
yes, the first shot of Ninja Cockle.
Finally, science.
Okay, Ninja is
That's
the new
a
Sentai
terrible
series.
name.
It makes a lot more sense in Japanese.
It sounds
It's a
like
clever
someone
part.
stuttering.
No, it sounds like a dirty badge, but
Well, that's definitely two different takes on it.
One.
I'm glad we had these broad perspectives from the panel today.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
So, Matt, can you explain for anyone who's not up to date,
Yeah.
what part of the Megazord you specifically have a problem with?
Sorry, what part of the Megazord?
Yes, of the Ninja Megazord.
Oh, no. Well, kind of. One of the constituent Zords is a dump truck.
Yep.
And another one of the little Zords just sits inside the dump truck part on the Megazord. It doesn't, like, combine in or transform in any interesting ways. It just kind of sits down.
So basically, the dump truck forms like the torso and one arm. And then the Red Ranger Zord, which is like a humanoid robot,
Yeah.
just sits in the dump truck.
So he's the garbage man.
So, like, his legs dangle out the front of it.
So he's the garbage man.
Yeah,
He's the guy who's on the back of the garbage truck who jumps off
Oh, yeah.
and like picks the bin up and empties it.
If the garbage truck was a giant robot, yes.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, the Ninja cockpit, I suspect, is going to upset you for similar reasons.
All right.
But let me show it to you.
Yeah. Okay, that's ridiculous.
Why? That doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so the four rangers who aren't the Red Ranger all kind of stand, and they appear to have swords in like a raised throne system. And then the Red Ranger sits on that raised throne,
Like
much
he's
like his Zord.
Like he's been carried by them.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
I don't
It doesn't even look like a cockpit, though.
No.
It looks like the set of a Japanese game show.
Yeah, it does.
I wish
The
it
colours
was.
and
How
everything.
cool would that be? Like they get into the Megazord and then they just like before they like can actually fight anyone, they have to go through some sort of lightning round.
There's 20 minutes of a game show, and then back to the episode.
That would be actually incredible. I would pay to watch
If
that.
more game shows ended with giant monster fights,
Yeah.
I'd watch more game shows.
I'm just going to write that down.
That's a good just note.
Let's just edit this out of the podcast.
Yes.
All right. One more thing. It's a video. I'm not going to tell you what it is.
All right.
We're going to watch it. It'll
All
be
right.
in the show notes.
Fantastic. Back in a second then. That sort of thing does impress me to the extent that it shows how passionate a fan base there is.
Yeah.
They're willing to put that much work into
It's
something.
not fan work.
Oh, it's not.
No. It's a professional animation studio.
Right.
Based on the dates. So, Matt, can you explain what we just saw?
Yeah, sorry. So it was a CGI animated trailer.
Yep.
Hype trailer.
Hype trailer for what I guess would be a film
Yep.
based on MMPO.
Yep. So, as far as I can tell from the dates, it's by an animation studio whose name I have here, Zag Animation Studios. And
Sounds like a quality outfit.
Yeah.
based on the dates, it looks like this was put together, and then, like a year or so later, they formed a partnership with Saban.
Yep.
So it was like this is something we can do, let's kind of talk and let's get involved thing.
So it's like a spec pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That's really like I couldn't see that as a movie. Like
You don't think?
no.
I would, in the beginning, I thought it was a game. I thought it was, like a hype trailer for it.
Yeah,
And I
that'd
was
be-
hoping it was going to be a game, because I'd be like, yeah, that would be badass.
That'd be a
But
rad
I don't-
game.
Yeah, I agree. It would be, especially the last bit with the
But do you
Yellow
need anything
Ranger.
else? Like, it's got fighting and it's got the Zords in it.
But I
Like,
would
you
like
don't
it as
need
a
any
game.
background
I would
story.
like it as a
Yeah,
game.
sure. But I see no reason that couldn't be a movie in the same mold as Big Hero 6.
No, Joe, like that wasn't. It was more the quality of the animation
Well, sure.
that I was like, that is high level Saturday morning cartoon. It's not movie level animation. Like,
I mean, I think you definitely have to put more effort into the backgrounds, mostly, like the settings, but
But they didn't. In Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
Yeah.
they just go to a quarry.
I guess they're just trying to be
Yeah,
like
like-
canonical.
yeah, lots more quarries. Just lots more quarries.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it is
building
cool to
sites.
see. And I think, much like the animated Ninja Turtles film that came out 5 or 7 years ago,
Yeah.
there's definitely benefit in having that stuff be CGI because they can move like superheroes in a way that you just can't make happen in live
Yeah.
action.
Yeah, like all their synchronized moves and stuff were very, very cool.
Yeah.
The thing that they added that I thought was quite awesome was the tiger claws, those kind of elements.
absolutely.
Have they ever been done before as
Not
extensions of the character?
definitely not with Mighty Morphin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that in later seasons of Power Rangers,
Okay.
but it's never quite executed that well.
It's cool. I don't know about the end either.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
particularly when it was
too
building
much.
up so much hype about, it was
really
awesome action,
dorky.
and then it has, I don't know what that is in film, film hype trailer culture, but
Like
going
breaking
to
the fourth wall.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
yeah,
It was dumb.
yeah. As far as like sort of post-title tags go, it was pretty weak. But I did get the feeling that it was an animation studio that didn't have a writer.
Well,
Yeah.
no, I mean that's a like sell it to Hank Saban.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
like see this is a thing we can
We can do this.
And look, they're people. They've got faces. We can do faces. You guys like faces?
Big fan of faces. Yeah. No,
So would you see this film, Origins?
like I kind of would.
Here's the
almost-
thing, Matt.
it's basically my job.
We have no choice at this stage.
Yeah.
If it's Power Rangers, they have to do it.
I would, but I would be much happy to see that as a TV show.
Or a
They
game.
could.
Or if it looked a lot better than as a film.
Yeah. And there was just not much else to go on, other than it was hypey and it was fun and exciting, but yeah, there's nothing else you can base it on.
I mean, yeah,
Of like-
there's no content in
Yeah.
it. It's
Yeah.
just
Even like the taglines and stuff like that, like the most powerful thing in
Yeah.
history, it's just fluff. Like
Yeah.
it's just meaningless words.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool to see though.
I wish it was a game now.
Yeah.
I would love to play that game. That would be fun.
We were just talking about how good a good Power Rangers game would be.
I don't know why they haven't yet. Like, I just feel like that is an undone.
Because games cost money and this show doesn't.
Yeah, touche.
There's
Touche.
never been one made.
It's been
There's
terrible.
been several
ones.
games of varying degrees of quality.
Okay.
Most of them bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say varying. Like mediocre is the top.
Yeah.
But varying between mediocre and like unplayable.
Yeah, okay, there's a big range
Some
there.
variance there, yeah.
And the mediocre ones were like 20 years ago. as time has progressed, they've gotten consistently worse. So
Wow.
Just a good mobile game.
A mobile game would be wicked.
yeah, there's 5 Power Rangers mobile games at the moment. They're all horrible. So there's room for improvement. That's what we're saying.
Someone make a good Power Rangers game.
Daniel, you work in games?
Yeah, let's hook it up. We'll do it next Christmas. It'll be
No, I don't want you to rush it. Take your time. I know what happens when you rush video games. You get terrible video games.
Because Daniel works with people who worked on, is it LA Noire?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So they can...
A Power Rangers video game
Well,
like that.
so we got connections with Rockstar, is what we're saying, basically.
Yeah, a Power Rangers LA Noire.
Yeah, you go around, you investigate the monsters,
Oh, that would be so
you interrogate the monsters.
No punching.
No, just shooting. You got guns. Everyone's got guns.
Alright, on that note, shall we go watch White Light?
White Light Part 1.
Yeah.
Do you have any guesses as to who the White Ranger will be?
No,
you haven't seen any of the clues yet.
I want to guess just for funsies. I want it to be the principal. Is he still around?
Yes.
Yes, that's my guess.
Alright, Principal
Okay.
Catman. Lauren guesses Principal Catman. We'll find out if she's right.
She's not.
I'm not sure that we will find out if she's right.
No, that means we will, I
yeah.
believe.
Okay.
It's someone who
set
reveals
the
on the
scene.
last panel,
Yes,
I imagine.
I think the last shot of this
is
episode.
like who it is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think.
I might not be able to predict who the White Ranger is, but I can predict that from the show. I have watched enough of it.
Right, let's go find out.
Let's do it. See you soon, guys. Alright, that was White Light Part 1.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was definitely half a story.
It was a hot mess. Like, it was just, there was too much happening.
There was a lot going on, and there was stuff that I definitely didn't remember.
I think my feeling was, yes, there was a lot going on, but at least there was stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I guess.
We've had a lot of filler episodes
Yeah.
lately, so we'll take it.
It's a lot of plot lines coming to a head
To a very big head, like, because there were too many plot lines.
with a giant fist.
I'm very disappointed the episode wasn't called something like it,
Like Enter the Fister.
or
Is
a
that what
great
you want?
fisting, or something.
Yeah, that's what they were going to call this episode of a children's TV show. A Great Fisting.
It would be fitting.
That's
No.
not really explaining where the fist comes from. We'll get to that, right?
Yeah, how about we start from the top?
Yep, makes a lot of sense.
Unlike Dono Charge, which we watched earlier today, there's no cold open, we just go straight into the credits.
Yep.
Have you guys seen the new credits?
I think we had, but I don't remember paying that close attention. They were really good.
Green Ranger's still in there.
Yep.
It's been 5 episodes. They'll replace him
He's
eventually,
still part
I
of the
guess.
team, isn't he?
No, the powers are gone. He can
So
never be the
he's
Green
gone. Like,
Ranger
he's
again.
never the Green Ranger again.
Yeah.
That's right.
Really?
Oh, he'll be the Green Ranger once 20 years from now.
That's
But-
stupid.
Even then, it's unexplained and kind of...
Why? Why is he not the Green Ranger anymore? What was the reason behind
He
that?
lost his powers.
Yeah, but why?
Because they ran out of footage. There were no more episodes with
'cause he
this.
dies, doesn't he?
Yeah.
The Japanese Green Ranger dies.
Wow.
Heavy shit. So, we're in the juice bar.
Yep.
Bulk and Skull enter, very angrily demanding sandwiches.
Yep.
Yep.
And when Trini presses them on their rudeness, Bulk reveals that they're on a top secret mission. Highlight,
They give
which-
the actual mission away.
yes, they don't properly understand what top secret mission is.
Also,
Yes.
it's the same top secret mission they've been on for like 3 months now.
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone doing Angel Grove who doesn't know what they're on about.
I mean, they had a mime French sketch artist.
Yeah.
Like, they've spoken to everyone in the town about this thing.
It's so elaborate.
It really is.
Well, I do think that's what, like, they've spent all their pocket money. Like, they're in debt to their parents, like, buying camo gear and spy gear. And because he was in, like, Bulk was in safari clothing.
I think that's just fashion. For Bulk.
And had a spyglass, you know.
Fair enough.
But what we also learned this scene is that Tommy's coming back in a week,
Yep.
and they've decided they're going to throw a party
Yep.
to celebrate his return from the lake
Yeah.
he's been living in.
He sent Kimberly a letter.
Yeah.
Now, look, I know this is 1994 and everyone doesn't have, like, mobile phones.
They don't have computers either.
But they had phones.
Yeah.
Like,
But he didn't. He was at a lake. Where would he get the phone?
he's at like a house. I don't think he's sleeping like
No, I think he's living in the lake.
on the shores of the lake.
He's become like a popular local.
No, I'm sure he's at his uncle's house at the lake. I'm sure that's a thing that's been said in this show.
Maybe his uncle's really old-fashioned and doesn't believe in the telephone. He just has stamps. He's like, oh, I need to like talk to this girl at school. He's like, well, you know where the stamps are kept, Sonny. No?
Or just old-fashioned enough that he doesn't have a house. And they live off the land.
Yeah.
That'll explain why Tommy isn't wearing a shirt when we see him.
I do believe he has Native American ancestry, we find out. So maybe he's living with his Native American uncle.
You know, those people don't have houses.
Yeah, Chief doesn't have phones.
Oh dear.
Michael, change the topic.
Avoid.
So I'd like to say at this point that Lauren was introduced to Richie
Yeah.
and said, "Who's that guy? I hope he's the White Ranger. He's spunky."
Yeah.
He
He had
was.
about one line of the one word of dialogue.
I don't
That's all
know.
he's had for about
He
6
doesn't
years.
need any dialogue. He's just there to look pretty, right?
I think that's the reaction the producers were going for.
Yeah.
That exact line, like, ooh, he's spunky.
He was.
That's what they
He's
I want to
replacing
see
Tommy.
more of that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, I approve. I hope he's the White Ranger. And if he's not, I'm not watching his show anymore.
Pick up.
Okay. So they're going to throw him a surprise party. Tommy, not Richie. Richie doesn't get a party.
Doesn't get-
No one else Richie.
Except Lauren.
So Lord Zed, he's going to spoil the surprise party by killing Tommy.
No.
Well, the way he sets it up is like, I'm going to give him his final farewell. And then later in the episode, his plan changes.
Yeah. I think you could make an argument for him being inconsistent.
He was
Yes.
as erratic as the episode was.
Yeah, definitely.
So Zach says it's been way too quiet around here.
Well, I was playing Gridiron, right?
I love.
Some
Can I just
great
mention
scenes.
before we get to that line, when they throw the football, it's like this
Yeah.
unnatural way that a football just does not move. Like
They
it
have
was like,
superpowers.
Okay.
They're just, when they throw stuff.
yeah, all right.
It throws good
Yeah.
or bad.
It wasn't a good throw. It was just something like that. Yeah. So Zach jinxes them.
And by the way, playing with them, I take it was one of these new characters.
Yes, that was
as well.
Curtis,
Curtis
Zach's cousin.
outweighs the first bloke in
Richie.
terms of dialogue
He
by
does.
miles. So I think he's got to go up in the bookies for sure.
Yeah.
So, because everything is quiet, Alpha and Zordon, they've got a secret mission.
Yep.
Which isn't really a mission, but anyway.
Like, in a sense.
They've got some shit to do, basically.
So Zordon gets teleported over to a secret chamber, and then Alpha just walks over to the secret chamber.
By the way, like having more dialogue than I've ever heard Alpha say. Like, because he takes so long to move, they just
walk
have to
there.
fill that time with line after line after line.
It's
Like,
pretty rad.
Painful. Like you saw that they were just filling in that gap.
Yeah.
I would have just rather dead silence.
I mean, they could have just teleported Alpha.
Yeah.
But
Nope.
But then he wouldn't get to go through the door of light.
Yeah, which was a
Yeah, so
big
he's-
clue.
it's basically just like a door over in a wall that you can't see the door because,
At the angle, the shot.
I mean, it's implied it's because of the angle, but really it's because there's not a door there.
Yeah.
So basically everything else in the power chamber shuts down.
Yeah, it goes into emergency power mode.
Mhm.
That sounds dangerous, turning everything in the...
But they also
down.
identified that they were in a lull.
Yes.
Yeah, that there was no action, so of course it's the best time.
That seems reasonable. You got some downtime. It's time to do like the maintenance stuff that you meant to do. Except Lord Zed immediately senses a fluctuation in the morphing grid.
Yeah, there's a disturbance in the force. I mean, whatever.
Straight
our force
away,
Yes.
yeah. Straight away, like it's the next shot.
Like, how do they not have like a safeguard to that? Like, why would they power things down? You just like put that shit on. You know.
I mean, I assume they need the power downstairs, but like the
Like,
idea,
they heat a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
going,
Fair
they
enough.
need some
Fair
power
enough.
for that.
Fair enough.
the idea that like everything's quiet, so now is the time to do our thing, which will signal to our one enemy that now would be a good time for him to strike.
To attack.
It's not a great plan. So
But they could have left it out. I understand what they're doing in secret. But it could be like, hey guys, off to a secret thing.
Don't they
Yeah.
normally contact the Rangers to let them
No,
know?
normally they leave the Rangers in the dark for as long as humanly
So-
possible.
Yeah, for all of
And
their
then
plans.
Zordon reveals that actually what's happening is what he was fearing all along.
And has the thing that can save them as
Yes,
well.
because he feared it for so long. So, interesting fact about the morphing grid.
Yeah.
It's a balance maintained by the struggle between Zordon and Lord Zed.
Except it's not, though, because the Morphing Grid survives a lot longer than either of those two characters.
Well, presumably it's between good and evil,
yeah.
and they're just currently the preeminent goods and evils.
yeah.
It's
The Morphing Grid is like kind of like the Speed Force in comics in that it's so ill-defined that it is anything and everything you need it to be at any moment.
Yeah.
It's interesting in that it almost provides that sentence almost provides like an explanation of why they can't ever escalate fights,
Because it would
because
throw the balance.
the
out.
idea is that it's hot. Like
They're
if they
defensive,
escalate, because the Megazord can, we've seen, defeat a monster.
Yeah.
If they were to escalate, the monster gets escalated in return because there's like an even amount of power.
Yeah, I guess I could see that broadly.
So, like, you have to stay at the right level and keep the balance.
I understand what you're saying, but that's a very specific interpretation of what was said.
Yes, but given that everything is nonsense and made up nonsense,
Yeah.
I think I'm allowed an interpretation.
That's fine. I'll give you that.
So, Nimrod, the Scarlet Sentinel, is the monster Lord Zed is going to send out.
Yep.
Or the Fister, as he was dubbed. It's a giant sculpture of like a fist, like a stone-carved fist.
I want to know the context of it. Like, why did...
Well, there was a small period of communist revolution.
Yeah, in
In Angel Grove.
I assumed it was like Black Power.
yeah, I thought
Well, it's basically a
the name
white
of the
statue,
episode.
so...
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, basically Lord Zed zaps the statue.
Yep.
But instead of the statue becoming a monster, like it has every other time he's done that. And also there was a thing about he can only turn organic life into a statue. But let's move on from there.
Yeah.
It just kind of starts bubbling. That's something we're going to have to deal with later. That's not to worry about right now.
Yeah.
So this is it. Yeah, he indicates that it's on a schedule to grow.
Yeah,
basically.
it's got to do some stuff before it can be a monster. Also, now his plan is apparently for the Green Ranger to return to the dark side.
Yep.
I feel like I wouldn't have drained all of the Green Ranger powers before I tried that.
Well, you could probably get them back, presumably.
I mean, they've been pretty certain about how hard it's going to be to get them back.
Yeah.
You know, like they were like, can he get his powers back? No, can't do it.
But they said it last time.
Yeah, haven't we seen about 3 episodes so far that have had power drained and
Back
given
and
back
forward,
and yep.
This was a whole thing, though.
Okay.
Anyway.
Where does the comment come in? Sorry,
About
right about
this.
now.
Yeah, okay.
So we cut back to Bob and
So
Scott.
completely aside from everything else that's going on in the plot, suddenly a comment allegedly hits Angel Grove Park
Yep.
and shocks everyone, particularly Kurt Curtis, who believes that there was some dynamiting going on.
Yeah,
Because apparently
dynamite up there,
Dynamiting is a verb.
which is a common occurrence.
in the Old West,
Yeah, dynamite.
I mean, here's the thing. There's many quarries in Angel Grove.
That's true.
I
You
assume
make 'em-
that some dynamiting happens occasionally.
I don't think they still use dynamite. That's my feeling.
Did they in 1994, though?
Probably not.
I feel like you're thinking 1994 was like back in cowboy times.
Yeah, it's
That's
not,
the case.
it's not
wasn't it?
1894 or 1794. I'm pretty sure
But
we
that's how you make quarries. A lot of dynamite.
A lot of dynamite,
So,
yeah.
what do we know about Angel Grove? Lots of quarries.
The,
Yeah.
So,
the mayor of Angel Grove was like, alright, we have exactly 80 quarries, but the neighboring town has 87, so we need to get out there, do some dynamite, and raise it to 90.
Not to be outdone.
I am seeing many news reports about dynamiting in the last 5 years, but mostly by terrorists.
Alright.
they dynamite.
It would be so funny if Angel Grove is not only attacked constantly by by aliens, but also terrorists.
But they don't give a shit about that side of things. Like, it's all the
So-
glamorous.
These terrorists, they were dynamiting. Were they also tying damsels to train tracks?
They're mostly threatening to dynamite. I think the idea is dynamite is relatively destructive and relatively easy to get a hold
It's
of.
really easy to. Okay, it's easy to make. You can make dynamite at home.
But we're not going to provide
Right.
instructions.
What have you been up to recently?
No, I just know you can do stuff like that.
Why?
Because people do stuff like that.
When you say people,
I'm not some.
Lauren, what were you dynamiting?
Well, there was that woman's car.
alright. So it's not a comet,
No.
we find out. It's actually
Yeah.
Rita's space upstart. Ba ba ba. Which I'd completely forgotten about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I knew that Rita came back eventually, but apparently
I've
that is
forgotten
now.
it happened this time.
Yeah.
So do we know if this was explicitly part of Zed's plan at all?
No,
I think
So this is a pure chance. Okay.
When Zed sent Rita away, the impression we got was forever.
Yeah.
Somehow
She was just rocketed into space.
that's come back.
Well, he threw her into space. She's probably just like hit something and then rocketed
ricocheted
back.
off.
The space dumpster, perhaps.
I have some questions about that. I don't think that's how space works, but
It's just like pinball, basically.
I'm not a physicist,
Like,
so I can say what I want.
That's
Yeah,
like,
that's right. Like, so if you send a rocket ship
what
up,
are the odds it would land in Angel Grove
Yeah.
Park? Like,
Exactly.
this show's
anyway,
very.
maybe she was just leaning when she was in there to change the concept.
well, no, she can't have been because she is sleeping inside.
She's having a good nappy.
I guess I'd do if I was floating in space for all eternity.
Yeah.
I have a nap or two. Right, so Bulk and Skull have found it.
Yeah.
And they're going to take it to Skull's dad's workshop.
Yeah.
And
Not before trying to pick it up.
it's hot. And you know it's hot because when they touch it, they get red wavy lines on their hands.
If it sticks as well, wherever
Yeah.
they move, yeah.
Yeah, because the hand is hot.
Yeah.
They have fiery hands.
That's a terrible effect. And unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, if they touch
If
it
there's
with their
good
hands
enough
away, say,
actors,
yeah,
like-
it's hot. I get it, it's hot. Like they sold it to me, I didn't need to read the lines.
It's not like when you touch a stove in real life and then pull your hand away, your hand is bright red and throbbing. It's not like they're going for hyper-realism or anything like that.
Oh, thank God they're not going for hyperrealism.
So, and it's also convenient that part of whose was it? Bolts or Skulls? Can't remember.
Skulls.
He has a part of his uniform that he's wearing at the time. Large oven mitts.
Yeah.
Just wearing them, or just in case.
Casual
Yeah.
oven mitts.
Yeah.
Bulk says later that their plan is to open it and discover the secrets of the Power Rangers. Why does he have any reason to believe that that will do that in any way?
I think he's just so obsessed at this point that anything unusual he assumes is linked to the Power Rangers. Like, he
And
believes...
he's not wrong, he's the
Yeah, that's the thing. It is, and I think they also think Power Rangers are aliens. This has come from the sky. He assumes it's some sort of Power Ranger related thing, and it
was
that's right.
the
it
sign
is.
they were asking.
That's
for.
right. So I don't think it's that far out of.
Yeah, I can understand where you're coming from, but everything that we in this town has to do with the Power Rangers.
And he's so obsessed with the Power Rangers, he probably thinks everything is the Power Rangers at the moment.
So Billy and Jason come up. They're just too late.
By like 2.5 seconds.
Billy notes that it's still hot, wavy red effect on his hand. So it must have been here very recently. To which Jason says, if it was here, where is it now?
He might as well have said, if it's not here, it must be in another here. Where here is it? Like, that is...
Which here is it at?
Yeah.
He is a dopey son of a
It's
bitch.
great.
Like,
It's great.
But with conviction. Like, here you go.
Love the
Great,
guy.
good on you guys.
so
Yeah.
when you met him, Michael, was he this, like,
No.
this is acting, like...
This is acting, yes.
And not great writing. Like,
Oh, yeah,
we need
it's
to remember
terrible
that.
writing.
There's not many ways you can deliver if it was here, where is it now,
Yeah.
and not sound a bit like a moron.
Yeah.
For a lot like a moron.
That's one of those lines that is absolutely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And is only there because they're worried that like a 6-year-old won't understand what the word gone means.
Yeah, that and the fact that it's visibly not there anymore.
Yes.
Like, even 6-year-olds have object permanence.
They absolutely do. 1-year-olds have object permanence, for God's sakes.
So Zach, back with Zach, they're playing football.
Yeah.
His ball bounces off the Sentinel statue.
Yeah.
And it's got some sort of goop on it. And he looks up and there's a whole puddle of slime dripping from the fist.
This is some Ghostbusters 2 shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
Yeah, it was very
He's
slimy.
much less worried about it than he probably should
He
be.
was way too casual.
he smells it and then is about an inch away from just tasting it. Being like, this is definitely evil.
And I mean, like, I understand that he's dealt with 77 of these things.
Yeah.
But,
I'd still be grossed out and freaked out.
yeah,
It's new.
He
It's
doesn't act
unusual.
urgently enough, in my opinion, because when something like that happens, it's clearly going to be a monster, like, pretty quickly. I know he's trying to be subtle and get rid of the other kids, but he's still very much like, so, you know, you have to see it to believe it. Like,
So that's what he does. He goes and he tells everyone that he's done with football. His
Because that's-
wife.
I quite like this scene, actually. Like, I think Walter Jones does a pretty good job of acting.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know? Like, he sells that whole, oh,
I'm super tired.
yeah, guys, we gotta go, gotta call this game off. He doesn't know that I can buy that the other people would be convinced by it.
Yes.
But it's also acting as well.
Sure.
So, yeah, I was impressed.
So he calls Kimberly and Trini over.
Yeah.
And they see the gooping fist.
Yeah.
And they try to contact Zordon and Alpha.
Yeah.
But there's no word from Zordon and Alpha.
I should have an answering machine.
That would be a good solution.
The Alpha.
Although, I mean,
Mumbling the
I can't get to the phone right now.
I guess the only people who would ever contact them are the Rangers.
Yeah.
So, it seems unnecessary.
But what if, like, Alpha's going to the bathroom or something?
He's a robot.
No, like,
right?
not to pee, but, like, to just look at himself in the mirror or something.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah,
Clearing that up.
no, he's a robot. He wouldn't pee, but he'd just check himself out.
possesses vanity.
Powder his nose.
So,
because they're not there,
yep.
they're like, okay, there's a lubricated fist. We better call the expert.
Oh, dear God.
So they call it. What? Don't give me that look, Michael.
That's homophobic and
Well
offensive. That's the sort of behaviour that led to him eventually leaving this show,
Really?
Matthew.
Is it gay?
The great fisting.
David Yost is.
For you to say the sentence, right, is a lubricated fist, let's call the expert Billy. That's the sort of like, oh no, it's not a gay thing, your character's not gay.
Why is that a gay thing?
Yeah, like, it is a lubricated fist.
Yeah.
It's lubricated with slime.
Like, even if it's a sexual thing, I don't understand why you took that to a specifically.
No,
Straight
I
people
didn't
can-
take it to a gay thing.
Straight couples can fist, okay? Like, let's not be
I'm
judgmental.
not saying they can't.
I'm just saying Billy is promiscuous. That was the extent of my implication.
Look, I'm going to have to cut this whole section out of this episode.
Sorry,
You
you
understand
dare.
that, right? The only reason I'm not going to is because I'm lazy.
Enjoy this talk about fisting, kids.
There's no kids. Look, kids, if you're listening to it,
I mean,
fisting is something that mummy and daddy do to each other sometimes.
Oh,
when,
God, I hope not.
when their relationship has gone a bit stale.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, Michael, that's too far. That's it. You've crossed the line. If the kids have made it to 77, they've heard worse shit than that.
have they?
Yeah,
No.
that's true, actually. I think they have.
So, the monster isn't ready, Nimrod the Scarlet Sentinel.
Yeah.
So Lord Zed sends down the putties. It's a pretty solid putty fight.
It's a long putty fight.
Yeah.
I felt like, in my opinion, they had just gotten the actors something. Like, so a producer on the show wanted to send the kids to some sort of, like, fighting workshop. And then the people were like, no, it'll cost too much. No, trust me, it will be worth it. So that was it. They sent these kids to, like, a fighting workshop and then had this 5-minute putty scene to justify that now they really,
More likely, I think they just have minutes to fill.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever, sure.
Yeah.
My idea's there.
Did you notice that Trini's entire fight takes place with her back to the camera?
Yeah, because it's not Trini.
Almost
I really
certainly.
liked her
Oh, wow.
costume though. Her outfit today with that those really cool pants and that sort of crop top. She looked really faded.
So who did look baby, Kimberly, in her overall.
She always
Overalls.
looks faded in her
Yeah.
overalls. I just really like that outfit on her. That's all.
Reliable.
What I did like about this putty fight was Lord Zed saying, oh, the monster needs a bit more time, I'll use the putties to distract the Rangers long enough so
Yep.
they can develop. That's the actual first time they've had a good reason to
Yeah.
send that putty.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a legitimate justification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As,
And
impressed.
fodder.
Yeah.
as like
Consume
a
time.
force to defeat the Power Rangers,
Yeah.
they are clearly not good
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah.
So that's a dumb reason to send
Yeah,
them
it's a
down.
distraction. It's good. I like it.
The other thing about this putty fight is I noticed that the putties, particularly one in this fight, after it gets hit in the chest, it glows with energy, but then it has a moment to wiggle around and look at itself. Like, it has a moment of awareness where it knows it's going to die.
That's really
and it has nothing it can do about it. And it just has to, like, have that 2 seconds of knowledge of the fact that it's about to not exist anymore.
I feel like almost like if someone had a grenade land next to them and they know there's no chance they can get away from it.
You don't have enough time to think about what you want to think about before you die. You only have enough time to panic about it.
We get deep on Power Rangers today.
Just say it's kind of messed
Just
up.
like
It's extremely messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael.
it's just dumb that Lord Zed introduced better putties that have an explode button on their chest.
Look, I love it, so I'm not going to ever complain about it.
Okay.
Because it's so much better than the putties get knocked to the ground and then we pan away and we pan back
Oh,
there.
no, I'm with you there. It's just, we should have started with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Sentinel statue becomes Nimrod, the Scarlet Sentinel.
Which is, again, a hot mess of a monster.
So it's got like...
No, can we
before
talk
that
about
happens.
before... So they pan to the back of the fist.
Yeah, so...
And it's basically like someone has stuck a $5 alien mask from the reject shop.
It's basically just like a white face cast
Yeah.
with
mask.
black eyes.
But it was alien-like. It had
Yeah.
like but like just stuck it to the back of this thing.
But it also blinks as well.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Then at the end of that scene, the eyes open and there's human eyes underneath.
It's creepy.
It's messed up.
It's creepy, but also dodgy looking.
So, they have gone in this period back to base, right? They've checked. Is this before the?
No, that's about to happen.
Ah, okay.
So, at this point, Tommy comes out of the water, shirtless.
I don't know why you looked at me when you just said that.
Because you're the one who has commented on his
He
physicality.
didn't look that good shirtless. I was a little bit...
That's fine. I'm just saying that's why Michael would do
Fair
that.
enough.
So he gets zapped by some sort of strange colour-changing energy and teleported away.
Yeah. Presumably that's Lord Zed who was saying he's going to kidnap him.
Yeah. Now the Rangers, there's nothing they can do about the Sentinel statue at this point because they don't know what's going on.
Or the party.
Well, you know.
Because they don't... Well, it's going to be a terrible surprise party.
They will.
When Tommy
They've
doesn't show
got
up.
a week. Yeah.
They'll just all be hiding until they start to starve. Like dehydration sets in and they start killing everyone.
So they go to the command centre. All the lights are off. Everything's on emergency power.
Yep.
Billy says, maybe I can look at the
All the
log."
lights are off except for the fairy lights on the wall.
Oh, those are,
God forbid you turn those
oh,
on.
those are the emergency lights. So Billy says, maybe I can look at the logs and figure out like what the last thing that happened was. And Trini immediately says, Billy, have you found anything yet?
Yeah, like he hasn't looked around.
So basically, he's got a CD, which he is holding terribly, his fingers all over the back bit.
That's irresponsible, Billy.
Yeah.
Middle
You're
finger,
a nerd, you know.
middle finger through the hole, other fingers around the edges, guys. Come on. Proper CD handling procedure.
Because like they barely had CDs.
I want to see a
No,
YouTube video of Michael in like excruciating detail explaining how one holds a
I would
CD.
happily do that because apparently no one knows.
Or a member of the crew who is CD handler. Like, wrangler, yeah.
So
that was the word, yeah.
he's going to take the disc back to his lab
Yeah.
and
Chuck it in his 1992 IBM.
Yep.
And apparently that's compatible equipment.
yeah, you know,
The alien technology of Zordon's command center. And he's...
I mean, he uses CDs, so...
It's true.
Alright, so, that's the plan. And he discovers that there is a hidden door of light.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah.
That's basically it. Yeah. So, Scarlet Sentinel
Has woken up.
has woken up.
There is just a crash, and then they immediately get into their... So, yeah, that's all that they've been given as any sign that any danger is coming, and they're like, it's over.
Yeah. You'd think it would be far away,
Morphin.
too, but no, they morph straight away, which is probably not unreasonable. They've had experience.
Yeah.
They go, Scarlet Sentinel's there, basically immediately grows large, summon the Megazord, running out of time in this episode.
Yeah, stuff flies by at this point.
The Scarlet Sentinel creates 2 duplicates.
Was it
not
creation or just
duplicates.
introduction? I thought they just appeared to the side.
It's like, there's like a laser teleporting
Yeah. Oh,
effect.
okay, yeah.
I don't
I don't think it was a creation. I thought it was summoning. And it, like, sorry, the Scarlet Sentinel Nimrod has sisters Stacy and Daisy. Was that it?
Really? Wow.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm like, why were they named that? That is just the what, like,
and particularly Nimrod, Stacy, Daisy, and Nimrod.
what? Yeah, it doesn't make any
There's
sense.
always one in the family who's got like a
Yeah.
weird name.
Nimrod.
Like Stacy, that's a weird name.
So they've tried to keep the shape of this fist as her head.
Their names are AC and DC
Oh.
because it has electric powers.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Sorry, they just didn't say it very clearly.
No, they
Sentinel ear, sentinel neck.
and Sentinel ring, yes, because that's
The fist is the ring. I don't know. So there's one that is clearly the ears because and now there's one that's just a neck.
Yeah, I
I
think
can't believe that.
the
That is
theme here
terrible.
is a bit strange.
Yeah.
It's a hot mess, like I said before. It is a hot mess of a monster.
Yeah.
so they fight very, very briefly.
Yeah.
They get zapped once and they fall. They literally fall over on top.
And Billy's just like, I'm out.
See you guys. Bye.
Peace out.
Back to the command center. It doesn't. It's
I
not
thought it
explained
was
why he goes
weird.
back to the command center.
No.
Like-
and also, he, presumably teleports to the command center, but not before falling out of the Megazord.
Yeah.
Just teleport, Billy.
Even if he just said like, someone needs to analyze the monster like Alpha normally does,
Yeah.
that would have made a lot of
He
sense.
just was like, I have to go to the command center. Peace out.
What happens to the plot of these things without Billy? Like, he pulls the team on so much, because he's every turning point for every episode, right? Like,
Yeah, pretty much. Who else would provide the mirrors?
yeah,
The
exactly.
Triceratops mirror.
He's useful.
Yeah.
He sticks around. So Billy discovers the door of light, steps through the door of light, falls through the worst special effect we've ever seen on this show.
It's pretty bad.
But also a
it's next
special
level
effect. It's a hole that leads you up to the air conditioning point.
Yeah.
So, the door immediately drops you at, an air conditioning vent. Perfect for spying on what
It's
the
a
hell is
confusing
happening.
Yeah, so what happens is, basically they got Billy to stand in front of a green screen
Yeah.
and kind of wave his arms around a bit. And then they put, a white tunnel effect behind it. And so, then he lands, not, you'd think, in the room, but on the floor above the room
In
with
the
a grate
air-conditioned
through
vent.
which he can see the room below. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, are they implying Alpha fell in there and then had to, go down?
Roll down.
There's actually a little step ladder out of that grate that he just had to...
They called the tradie about that one. And they're like, you did not do this correctly.
The teleporter does not go anywhere near the right place. Just, can you reconfigure it? No, we got it. We've got the other wires running through.
It's already done.
I can put a switch there for you.
door a light. What
do you want from me?
He was like, I can put a switch here, but I can't move the switch you've already got. So they were just like, oh, well, guess we'll have to deal with it.
Particularly if they're doing, secret business down there. That's a good setup.
So down there, Alpha and Zordon are talking technobabble nonsense.
Yeah.
They've got to be careful with the amount of power. A small mistake in the energy globe could spell disaster.
I think I did it, they do something wrong in the letters of disaster. No, stop it!
Imagine if they've got just they can get 9 mistakes.
Yeah, it's like Hangman. Yeah.
So if they spell disaster happens.
Hang on a minute.
So they're making a new Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we end the episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
See, we don't find out who the White
I
Ranger
was
is.
really bummed. I thought I'd had one prediction right, but I guess I'm sticking with Principal
Kaplan.
Yeah, Kaplan.
So based on today's episode, would you like to change
No.
your guess?
No, 100% Principal Kaplan.
That's
I
going
don't
to
care
come out
that
of
he hasn't
nowhere.
been in the episode, but he is the White Ranger. Because he's got greying hair.
Okay.
Well, it'll be white by the time we see him, presumably. You'll make that progression.
All right.
Alright, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything else they want to say?
I'll hope the next one's better.
It wasn't much of a cliffhanger. I'm not all that excited.
I am.
It was a hot mess.
I think there's a
They
whole...
weren't dragging me.
I think the issue is there's actually a whole bunch of things cliffhangering at the moment in this episode, but they're so spaced out, like you've forgotten about them. Like Bulk and Skull might free read a repulsor in a minute. And
Green Ranger, we don't know what's happened.
yep, there's a new Ranger, and also the Megazord is still in a fight that it was losing, and it's 3 against
They,
1.
they didn't build that. You know, there's all these 4 things happening.
They should have
and
done like a
could've-
shot of
yeah.
each of them.
And, you know,
to
them
remind
in pain,
you.
and, you know, where's our Green Ranger? Yeah, it really didn't create a great cliffhanger.
Yeah. The building blocks were there for a good episode, and they didn't quite pull them together.
But that's okay.
Another one.
I mean, tradition has shown us that the second part of the episode never lives up to the first part. So
It can't possibly be worse than Green No More Part 2. It actually cannot.
Yeah.
That was the worst Part 2 we have ever seen.
it's the worst thing we've ever seen.
Yeah, that's probably true. Oh, boy. All right, so we'll be back next week.
Yep.
Lauren and Daniel, you guys joining us?
Absolutely.
Can't miss it.
And we'll see you then.
Bye, guys.